I'm Tia Graham.
And I'm Robin Vincent. In the last 15 years, roughly 200 public schools have closed in Detroit. Now, these integral neighborhood hubs have left a lot of holes in the communities where they've closed. But the organization Life Remodeled turned the former Durfee Elementary Middle School building on the west side into the Durfee Innovation Society, and it's providing youth programs, workforce development opportunities, and more to people at Durfee.
Life Remodeled is now working on a new opportunity hub on the east side, Anchor Detroit, that will open in December. WDET's producer, Jack Philbrandt, dodged construction and toured the progress in Anchor Detroit. He joins us now to give us a little bit of an update. Jack, welcome to this side of the mic.
Hello, Robin and Tia. So good to be with you both again on this side of the mic.
On this side of the mic. So, Jack, what is Life Remodel? It sounds cool.
Yeah, so the organization remodels vacant buildings in the city and turns them into opportunity hubs. These are like community centers with a lot of different programs that are really serving the community directly in those areas. Their first school was the Durfee Elementary Middle School that they turned into the Durfee Innovation Society, and now they're taking their talents to the west side and working on a new project.
Cool.
Brandy Haggins is the vice president of Opportunity Hubs of Life Remodeled, and she gave us the tour. She's really working to connect people with resources that she didn't have access to growing up.
I am from Detroit. You can't tell I'm from an underserved community, and that's where my passion comes from, because we didn't have this growing up. My family did not have this, and it would have made a huge difference in how I had to get my education and in the way my mom and dad had to just take care of us. But that's okay. I can't go back and change that. I'm grateful that I'm here now. If we can have a hand in helping other families get things that they deserve and not have to go through the things that I had to go through in order to get to where I am, then I'm all in.
Jack, just listening to her speak, number one, you can hear the passion that she has for the neighborhood and the city of Detroit, like most Detroiters do. But Detroit does have a lot of vacant buildings. Even after a big push for blight removal from Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan, why the focus on remodeling schools?
Well, as you mentioned, lots of vacant buildings in Detroit, but the way that these schools were built, they were built directly into these neighborhoods. Yeah. They're already like these direct access points to a lot of resources that are going to be in these buildings. And kind of a good example of just how built into the neighborhood these buildings are was we were standing in the cafeteria and we could look out these big glass windows and look almost directly into people's living rooms. So I'm just thinking about the people that will be able to walk right across the street and get these resources. Brandy talked about how Detroiters have so much pride for their communities and the schools that they attended.
My middle school and elementary school is vacant. It's just sitting there. It has been sitting there for years. My high school is not vacant, so I'll give them that. It is a Meyer. Now I went to Redford. And then it's just so many vacant school buildings in the city of Detroit. It can be hurtful to the community, not only because you have history inside of the school, but that building means a lot to people, and nobody wants an eyesore in their own community, right? And I always say to look good is to feel good, and that means community as well. So we don't want this to be just another building sitting abandoned for the community. We want to make sure that we put something here that actually belongs to the community.
And Jack, this is something that I talk with my mom about often, is the abandoned school buildings that we'll see tucked inside of neighborhoods and communities. I actually went to a community school. It was right in the neighborhood, and it was so funny. You talked about looking through a window. I remember that happened at school. I was in class. I just happened to just be looking out the window, and I saw a woman looking at us in her window, and I just thought to myself, what is she doing?
The neighbors in the community, I do think get this. Like, their blinds were closed, but it is like stone's throw away from people's front yards.
Which is so cool to have a resource center you can just walk right to. But you're listening to the Metro on WDET, Detroit Public Radio. I'm Tia Graham.
And I'm Robin Vincent. We're learning about the transformation of a vacant school in Detroit into a community center with Metro producer Jack Philbrandt. So, Jack, we now know what's going on within the building, but what happened to the school itself?
Yeah, so there were actually two schools that were located at this building. The first one was the Dominican High School from 1940 to 2005, and then it became the Winans Academy of Performing Arts from 2005 to 2024. I am from a town with one high school, and this idea of Detroit having so many high schools and people taking so much pride in their high schools is very new to me. And a lot of these graduates are so excited about what is now going on with this former building, their former high school that they graduated from.
I love Dominican alum. That is a strong group, and I did not even realize I knew so many people that graduated from Dominican. They are so excited about what's happening with their school, and I'm talking about all different years of graduation as well. We had the honor of giving a tour to the class of 1965 not too long ago, and got to hear some stories, and they shared some photos and things with us that will be kind of like hanging around the building. But they're excited, which makes me excited, and which makes us want to even work harder, because we want to make sure that we do things right in their old school building, because they take a lot of pride in this space.
So there is a sense of responsibility here to really uplift the community with these community hubs. How'd Life Remodeled get the new building?
It's kind of a unique situation where Pastor Marvin Winans, who owned the building, he has a lot of love for this community still. And he did not want a hole to still be there within this community with the building. So he heard about Life Remodeled, reached out, and Life Remodeled got the support from the community. They said, we like what you're doing. We want you to come in here and bring us an opportunity hub to the east side. So there is a strong focus on what the community wants, what programs they want to see in the building. And it's really about serving the community and giving them what they need.
Funny enough, Pastor Winans heard about Life Remodeled, and he actually reached out to us because he was thinking about selling the building. But the one thing that I love about him is he made it very clear that the reason why he hadn't put it on the market yet is because he did not just want it to leave it in the hands of anybody. He wanted to make sure that it was community focused, whoever was going to come here. I'm not a religious person, but I'm a very faithful person. I would say it was God's timing. It was definitely God's timing to be able to have an opportunity hub on the west side. Mm-hmm. And another one on the east side is like perfect for Detroit.
And, just really quickly throwing in that the Winans family are a very, very well-known, nationally known, a gospel family here in the city of Detroit. Grew to stardom here in the city of Detroit, and they continue to give back and give back through church as well as service. So, yes.
So, Jack, as you mentioned, a big part of this is listening to community needs. So what's going to be different at Anchor Detroit versus Durfee in terms of what's needed, what the community is asking for?
There's going to be a lot of similar stuff like workforce development, youth programs, health and wellness. But like the Winans family, there's also going to be a strong connection to arts, performance arts specifically here. Yeah, so Fox Theater, they donated seats to the theater, and they are excited to bring performances to this space.
Fox Theater has been so amazing to us by donating their chairs to us, their former chairs to us, because they have new chairs, so that'll go in here. We have an orchestra pit. I've been told do not remove the orchestra pit, so we will not be removing the orchestra pit. This was a 700-seat theater, and then once we add the new seating in here, it'll be around maybe like 690. And so our goals for this is for local and national artists to come and perform, and what does it feel like to community members to be able to walk right across the street to go see a play or a concert?
Jack, thank you for telling us about this really interesting community project. When will Anchor Detroit be fully functional?
It is still very much under construction. We were dodging boards and lots of dust, but they're working hard, and it's going to be open in December 2025.
Okay, so end of this year. That was WDET's Jack Philbrandt. He toured the under construction Anchor Detroit with Life Remodeled VP of Opportunity Hubs, Brandy Haggins. Assistant producers Trevor McConico and Lauren Myers contributed to this segment.
Metro on 1019 WDET FM. And Robin, just thinking about that conversation just now that Jack brought us and thinking about the cool things that are going to be happening in some of these buildings and how they're going to be rehabbed and refurbished and turned into new spaces. I just think about, once again, I am a native Detroiter, love it. I scream it to the tops of the mountains, but I did not go to a DPS high school. So that's one of the things that I don't get to shout out at the top of my lungs about, but I love to hear the pride from the Detroiters.
Well, Tia, that's always the second question, right? The first question when you meet a Detroiter, as we know, it's your signature question, what part of the city? But then number two is, what high school did you go to? So at that point, what do you do? Do you retreat into the corner?
I'm just like, yeah, you guys, my parents were just like, it's a no for me, dog. Yeah, it's a no for me, dog. So it's okay, though. Shout out to all the DPS CD and DPS students and graduates. My sister did go to Cody and graduated from Cody, though. So
okay,
I live vicariously through her.
You have a little bit of bragging rights then, you think?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
we'll give that
just
to you.
because of her.
Yeah, you're still a DPS CD family.
Yes, exactly.
Coming up at 11, biking and walking in Metro Detroit can be treacherous, and especially within the city of Detroit itself. Are you afraid of getting into an accident when you're walking or biking around Detroit? What do you do to stay safe? Call in and let us know, 313-577-1019. And up next, Michigan lawmakers have given corporations subsidies to create jobs, but often companies haven't created as many jobs as they projected. We'll hear about why those job-creating projects have often failed and what can be done about it. We'll be right back. This is The Metro.